Moss with Twisty bands is a 12-row pattern. It is available as a free download on our website. Moss with Twisty bands is not exactly a stitch. It is the combination of two different stitches. The Twisty bands involves all right side rows, which are knit rows, to knit into the back of the loop, and then all wrong side rows just to purl, not knitting into the back of the loop. And the moss stitch is just the traditional knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one. And if you have an odd number of stitches in your work, you can always start with knit one, purl one. Here's the traditional moss, 5 rows of it, and then 7 rows of the Twisty bands, a band of twisty stitches. I hope you can see how the twisted stitch gives a slight herringbone effect to the knitting. So instead of the ordinary stocking stitch, there's just this little zigzag up and down. I'll knit the Twisty bands first. Start with a knit one to give a nice neat edge. Then after that, on the right side, it is knit into the back of every stitch. Continue knitting into the back of every stitch until the last stitch, and the last stitch will be an ordinary knit. Row 2 and all wrong side rows are just knit 1 and then purl, 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 purl to the last stitch, and the last stitch you knit. There, that's 7 rows of the Twisty band. There are 4 rows with the Twisty stitch and 3 rows of just purl. So by starting with the twisted stitch row and finishing with the twisted stitch row, you're getting maximum twist for your 7 rows. I hope you can see the little herringbone effect that the twisted stitch creates. And onto the moss stitch. Just knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, ad infinitum. If you have an odd number of stitches, you finish with a knit 1, so that's ready for the next row to start with a knit 1. 1 row of moss stitch, now the second one. Start the same. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. 5 rows of moss stitch. By doing the odd number of rows, as I mentioned before, you get the maximum effect from the twisted stitches. So by doing another odd number of rows here, that brings the 2 together up to an even number, and that ensures that the next row, which will be the first row of the band of twisty stitches, is on a right side row, which it should be. The back of the Twisty bands is also quite a nice stitch in itself. A little bit of diagonal direction in the stitch, quite interesting. Here is where I used this combination of moss stitch with Twisty bands in block N of the textured sampler blanket. A nice plain block, contrasts nicely with the little heart and the flower garden. Remember, the free pattern is available to download from our website. Thank you for watching and happy knitting.
Here are the steps to download Daphne's patterns and to view the videos on her YouTube channel. Send an email to knitwithdaphne@gmail.com and include the subject Free Download. There is no need for any content in the email. You will receive an automatic email reply that includes 2 links. One is a link to Daphne's YouTube channel, the other is a link to the downloadable patterns. When you click the link, the Knit with Daphne folder with all the downloadable patterns will open. Double-click on any line to open and download the pattern. Double-click on Stitch Patterns to open the folder with the individual knitting stitch pattern. Enjoy Daphne's designs and happy knitting!